Thank y'all. Can y'all hear me? I'm gonna just speak out. Can y'all hear me? Well, okay. All right, guys. Congratulations, Julius, for today. It's a special day. It's a new chapter in your life, bud. I want to just engage with the audience right now. If you watch superhero movies, read comic books, believe or like superpowers, kids, raise your hand. You like to read that stuff? All right. What if I were to tell y'all that we all have superpowers right now as human beings? Okay? All right, now y'all got to listen to the rest of the speech, and I'll come back to that a little later, okay? All right, guys. What I'm here to discuss is just how to live a successful life. I'm going to give y'all guys some tips and some strategies. Of course, a lot of this is being directed towards our graduate today. But guys, first I want to be able to tell you a little bit about myself. All right, so I was born to a typical middle-class family. You know, my mother was a Mexican-American. My family migrated over here in 1905 from Mexico. My father's family was Irish. They migrated over here in the 1860s. My dad is 20 years older than my mom. All right, so I have nieces and nephews that are a few months younger than me, and I have siblings that could be my parents. All right, but we grew up initially starting off in a middle-class family. When I was 5 years old, my father went into back surgery, and he came out paralyzed. He could not move the left side of his body for the rest of his days. What that did to us was that turned my mother into the breadwinner in the family. We went from a middle-class home in Dallas, moved to Lockhart, Texas, lived in a home that was about 60 years old, had electricity only. In the winters, me and my brother would wake up every morning, and we would stand in front of the stove to warm up before we got dressed. In the summers, we'd cut off 80% of our house because the AC couldn't cool the whole home. All right, so our clothes were from thrift stores every fall. My mother worked at Dairy Queen, and she was a waitress. There was so much attention that went towards my father. Both me and my brother, we started coping by self-inflicting pain at a young age. By the time I was in middle school, I began getting arrested for vandalism, assault, and so forth. But it didn't take me but my second or third time being arrested, I realized I didn't want to go down that path. I didn't want to live that life. Now, one thing I want you guys to think about is it's not about what you want in life. What you want to think about is what you don't want in life. So I started trying to find mentors. I started trying to hang around kids that I wanted to emulate with how I saw their families living. And I did well in school. I did well in sports. Now, by the time I got to high school, guys, I was still being self-destructive. My mom worked 12, 16-hour shifts. My father would go into seizures every now and then. But I was able to get into college. I was recruited for football, but I decided not to go. I don't know why. If I go back to myself 20-some odd years ago, I'd say, go play football. But anyways, my first semester failed miserably. I'll be honest, I'm probably top 10 lowest GPAs at Texas State right now. My first semester in college, I promise that, right? So, failed miserably. My mom told me this, though. She said, son, we don't pay for your college. Those are loans and grants. You saw how you lived growing up. We live paycheck to paycheck. If that's how you want to live, by all means, that's your life moving forward. I knew a few things helped me through high school and middle school once I knew what I didn't want in life, and that was sports. So I went ahead and I became a collegiate powerlifter. Now, who knows here? Raise your hand if you know what a powerlifter is. All right, okay? It's how much weight can you squat? How much weight can I put on my back and squat? I squatted over 745 pounds. How much weight can I bench press? I benched over 500 pounds. How much weight can I pull off the ground? I pulled over 700 pounds. I made it to collegiate nationals twice to compete against the best in the country. Later on, after I was done powerlifting, I was recruited to be a cheerleader. Now, hey, I know that y'all think about cheerleading. It's different from high school, okay? Right? I was a 300-pound guy, and I learned how to do a back tuck in 10 minutes. I could stand, do a backflip, land on my feet. I could put one person up in the air with one arm, okay? That was some of the best times, but it focused me. With that being said, I also worked 3 jobs in college, guys. I knew what I didn't want in life, and I knew what I wanted in life. I had to develop coping mechanisms and strategies to get to where I wanted to be because my family wasn't going to help. And I'll tell you guys, the difference between when you grow up unconventionally, when you don't have your typical family, when you live typically in a lifestyle of poverty, your parents are too busy trying to make ends meet. They're not going to be there trying to show you strategies and different ways to get ahead in life. If you go to college or the military, they're happy about that. But you're pretty much going to be on your own. I learned a lot of things the hard way. I never had somebody speaking to me like I'm speaking to y'all. So take what I say with more than a grain of salt. It took me 8 years to graduate with a 4-year college degree. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and discuss a 7-tip strategy that you could do right now. As a 4 or 5-year-old, as an 18-year-old, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s, you could start right now. The thing about all of you kids in here, that y'all know this more than 90% of your peers, is life is unfair. Raise your hand if you think life is fair. Raise your hand if you think life is not. It's not fair. And I think most of y'all know that. Life is not fair. I'm glad you know it. So guys, number one, never let anyone hear you complain because nobody cares. But that is different than standing up for yourself. That is different than standing up for others. There is a difference. Be a hero within your story. If you see somebody being taken advantage of, being belittled, stand up for them. Stand up for yourself. Number 2, act in a rational self-belief. A rational self-belief, guys, is believing in yourself. It doesn't matter what the person next to you is thinking that you can't do something because you believe you can do it. Number 3, admit when you're wrong. We don't know everything. I don't know everything. Your teachers don't know everything. Your parents don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. But a good trait to have is to admit when you're wrong. It's very attractive in relationships, friendships, at school, and in the workplace, and it shows a level of maturity. Number 4, honor your commitments. If you go say or do something, do it. Be respectful enough to say, I want to do it. If you can't do it, don't make that commitment. Because all that does, people, is that builds credit and builds up your reputation or discredits you to lose your reputation. And all you have is your reputation. 5, take yourself seriously. There's no other way to showcase your value other than intent. What is intent? Focus. Focus everything you have into your wants and goals. Take yourself seriously. If you're a clown, people are going to think you're a clown. It's okay to joke around, but what I'm talking about is living life to be successful. If you're going to be foolish, people are going to look at you as a fool. Take yourself seriously. Nobody else will. Number 6, control your emotions. There will be people as you grow up that are going to look to you for guidance and leadership. Many people may be living in the same type of circumstances that you're living in, of course, that I lived in. When you make reactions and actions based off emotions, you're going to more than likely regret those actions. Sit back. Think about all of the resolutions that could happen and all the options that could happen by making an emotional decision. I always think worst case scenario. And if I don't want that worst case scenario to happen, I'm not going to go ahead and make an emotional decision. 7, influence. And I'm not talking about being a social media influencer. Influence. Many people walk through life, guys, with not having a purpose. They're just going. You are all different. I don't believe anybody in this world doesn't have a purpose on this earth, especially in this room. God will give you no more than you can't handle. You're meant to tell a story. Y'all guys want to know the difference between crabs and eagles? You put crabs in a tank and you leave the tank open. And you have a crab that climbs above everybody else. What those crabs do is they pull each other down. Somebody could have a tank full of crabs, not having to worry about them escaping, because they're always going to pull each other down. Or you could be eagles. And you could soar above your struggles, rise above everything that you're enduring together. My parents used to tell me this: tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. Think about it. Tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. If you're with the troublemakers, man, more likely you're a troublemaker. Even if you're not, all I'm saying is who you hang out with. You're with individuals that have motivation and drive and want to get ahead in life, you're going to follow that path. Okay. Now what I want to do is talk to you about 3 tips how to be successful after high school. Okay? First off, number 1, get a degree. Julius, you've step 1, knocked out. All right, you're a third of the way there. And without this high school diploma, you can't go and get college degree, go to the military, go get a trade. This is step 1. Step 2, guys, find a career. Find something that you want to do. This is where the 7 steps come in, right? Commit. Don't complain. Right? You're going to go through a few different jobs. Find a career. Get that career going. Number 3, be financially stable and secure. To be successful in life, get a degree, find a career, be financially stable and secure, especially before starting a family. It's hard enough to feed ourselves. If you're not those 3, you don't have those 3 knocked out, it's going to be a lot harder feeding a spouse and children. And the best thing you want to do is find a spouse. For y'all high school kids, those that just graduated, find a spouse that has the same type of mind frame you do. Also, guys, don't be afraid to fail. I fail every day. Failure brings learning. Failure helps you build thick skin, has you keep pushing forward. And the most important thing failure brings is success. All right, so in my conclusion, guys, I'm going to circle back around to powers. Y'all kids want to know what powers you have? Somebody said no, you don't care. That's fine. That could be a power of you not caring. That's fine. Okay? Some of us are born with type 1 muscle fibers, which means we're able to run long distances without getting tired more than others. Some of us are born with type 2 fiber muscles more intact, which means you're stronger and you're faster than everybody else. Some of us are born with heavier bones, which means our bones are harder to break. If you hit somebody or something, like in football, you hit harder. Some of us are born to be empaths, which means you're empathetic towards those around you. You feel what they feel. Some of us are born with persuasion. That's like politicians and salespeople. They could sell you anything, right? They can make you do what you want. They have the gift of gab. As humans, we're all born with large brains. We're top of the food chain. Y'all guys we take advantage of that because we live it every day. But with all of those powers that we have, when you go watch those movies or read the comic books, what do? They work on their abilities, right? What do the best athletes and smartest people do? They study and practice what they study. They work out and compete. But let me tell y'all guys a power that we all have that the majority of the world doesn't know about. Being able to create out of thought. It's called manifestation. You're able to manifest what you think. We all have that power. There's a book called The Secret that written. They talk about 1% of the population uses it. Do y'all guys want me to tell you how you can manifest? How you can create? No? Yes. Yeah, okay. Yes. All right, let me tell you guys 4 steps. 4 steps. First step, think it. Right? Think it and be positive about it. Step 2, believe it. Remember I told you those 7 steps about your belief in yourself? Act in a rational self-belief. Believe it with all your heart. Just like you're going to believe you're going to go to bed tonight. Step 3, speak it. Look in the mirror, tell yourself at night, write it down and read it every day. Write it down and speak it every day. I don't care, as long as you speak it. The Bible says when you pray, the Bible never says to ask for God. You don't ask God for a prayer. You speak it. You speak it into existence. The Bible was written thousands of years ago, and it tells us the secret of manifestation right there. Number 4, if you do 1, 2, and 3, guys, number 4 is easy. It does itself. It creates it. You get to create it. You all have the ability of manifestation. Guys, y'all guys, like myself, y'all live in a different way of upbringing. Y'all all have a story to tell. I'm so honored to be here to talk to you guys today. Thank you for having me. Julius, I'm very honored to speak on your behalf, sir. Congratulations. And y'all guys have a great rest of the day. Thank y'all. I was saying the speech, but I thought I'd say it to you. Man, don't be mediocre. Right? Don't be average. All right? You're more than that. You've grown up in an extraordinary circumstance, unconventional circumstances, way of life. You see where I'm coming from? I want to tell my story that you know, like, things can happen. You can overcome that. So what I want you to do, man, is don't be average, be great. Be different. And you go live the best life you can, okay? All right, brother. So proud of you. Congratulations, man.